Dre Cone, what's up? A1 Black, what's happening? Dre, where you at? Hey.
I got something to say.
Okay,
so with that being said, what's next for you? Because you've won several awards, you've been nominated for even more. It's like, what's next? I know you got some big shit up your sleeve, and I might be in your business, and it might be some shit you can't even share. I'm just saying, I'm ready to see you on screen. I'm ready to see it now.
Right. Well, I mean, I can't talk about everything, right? But I think for me, as you can see through my body of work, right? Like, it's always been about showing different faces of Jason Mitchell. You know what I mean? Like, cause I had all these fucking tattoos to begin with. You know what I mean? And everybody, like, when I did the Eazy-E shit, everybody's like, oh, he's Eazy-E's son, and it's probably his real life. Okay, you got that. So I'm gonna show you every different piece of what I could do. And in the meantime, I'm gonna take this activist sort of route, cause you can't beat me in public. You can't lock me up for telling it like it is on screen. You see what I'm saying? Because going back to Mudbound, that's my grandfather's real story. The only thing that's different was that he didn't have a baby with a German woman. You know what I mean? But he went to the Korean War, he did all that, came home with a third grade education, and had to fight through it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, being from northern Louisiana, he from Bush, Louisiana. Like, them white people wasn't having that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? He sent all three of his kids to LSU because all they could do was pick up trash. But you just fought in a war for these people. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? And everybody just want to jump from slavery to civil rights. You know what I mean? Like, nah, nigga. It was all of this time in between to build up the hate and to build up the misunderstandings, and the 40 acres and a mule you promised us that we didn't get. All these different things. You see what I'm saying? And they just want to label us angry black people, but nah, y'all fucked over us. But instead of making a big hoopla out of it, you could just nominate Mary J. Blige for an Oscar. That's cool with us. We'll take that too. Still a victory. You know? Still a victory. So for me, I think as far as what's next, it's always me trying to elevate. You know what I'm saying? And now that I've done a couple of things, it's about who I could take with me, right? So I started a nonprofit called Dream Seeker because I think too many times they tell us, dribble a basketball, sing a song, be an actor, be a rapper, be something in front of the camera. But it's 1%. And then in that 1% is even a smaller percentage of black people. So they sending us off. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So now I'm in this place where I'm like, you know what, let me teach all these things that's behind the camera, because it don't matter what color you is if you got the skills, and they can't take the skills from you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times we get upset with other races for setting shit up the way that we should have.
Oh man, say that.
You know what I mean?
Say that again.
You know, and everybody like, oh yeah, we have 400 years of this and this and that. That's cool, but I mean, put Tom Brady at the 50-yard line. We ain't gonna catch him by the time we get to the end zone. It is what it is. Yeah. We still are capable.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna outrun me. You're not gonna outjump me. You're not gonna listen. It's a lot of things you can't do better than me. So instead of arguing with you and all of that, I'm gonna get with my people. We're gonna figure it out, and we ain't gonna hurt nobody. We ain't gonna fuck nobody up in the midst of it, and we're gonna laugh and we're gonna have a good time. But we're gonna win.
That plays into something, and one of the things I truly believe, you know, in this country, and anybody that understands the country knows that this country wasn't necessarily set up for us to have, to be successful, but that doesn't mean that you can't find success.
Exactly.
You just have to look hard enough, be dedicated enough to go after what it is that you want, and stay undeterred. Don't allow someone else to say what you can or cannot do. There'll be plenty of doors get slammed in front of you. You're going to get plenty of no's. I'm pretty sure you and your experience and me in my life, doors have been slammed.
Right.
But I'm always jiggling that door knob.
Exactly.
I'm going to keep jiggling that knob for that one time that you didn't lock it.
Right.
I'm going to slide on in there.
Right.
So that's what we have to, you know, part of what this show and my clothing line is about is letting younger people understand that your determination, your focus, and your willingness to sacrifice is what'll get you to the success, no matter what it is, be it in acting, be it in barbering, you know, being in modeling, electro engineering, business owning, whatever it is. At some point, you're going to have to hunker down and say, that's what I want. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna tell you a quick little story, and then I'm gonna ask the question. Right? Me and my grandfather, although he was what he was, took me many years to understand that, and to fully respect him. I'll say, you know, like I would never disrespect him out in public, you know, but he used to want me to write his bills out and shit. I'm like, nigga, we can pay this online. What the fuck? You know, it was like simple shit that like he would get under my skin about. And he would always be over my shoulder when I would be writing this shit. And I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, I know what I'm doing. Why you check everything I do? But it wasn't until I got into my late 20s that I realized that he couldn't write anything but his name. I was like, fuck, why nobody told me this, right? And what I think is beautiful about what you got going here right now is that even though I've done great things, I know as far as being a man, I know nothing compared to y'all. So what is it that we could do as a younger generation going forward to make sure that we got the right bond? You see what I'm saying? Because we supposed to be learning from y'all. Because a lot of motherfuckers who I know got soft hands. They ain't done, you know what I mean?
Right.
They got soft hands. And, you know, like, y'all just come from a different generation and represent something so much stronger than I think I see on a day-to-day basis. So, like, what can we do as a younger generation to make sure that we headed in the right direction? You know what I mean? Or making sure that we got these relationships with no walls. Exactly. You know what I mean? What am I supposed to do?
One of the first things I would say to any person, any young person, is don't be afraid to ask. What I see so much, or I see a lot of now, is there's a divide in generation in the black community amongst males. Older generation, there's a gap, and then you got younger guys. You got the younger guys, they don't respect the older guys because somewhere along the line in their life and their experience, there has been not enough or no male representation positively for them to respect it.
Right.
And you got your old nigga, the older generation, I unfortunately say a lot of them eschewed their responsibilities to the younger generation. So you had, I'm from an age where, when crack hit, niggas was going to jail. Niggas was getting killed. So you left a big void in there. The younger people didn't have their fathers, either through attrition or through jail.
Right.
So the older niggas is scared of the younger cats. The younger cats don't respect the older cats. What we need to do is, as an older man, and I put the responsibility on myself and everybody in my generation, is reach your hand out and talk to somebody younger. Ask him a question. Ask him, what's going on, young blood? What's happening with this? Or just give him a piece of game, man. Say, look here, man, check this out. When this goes on, this is what you need to do. The younger person, be receptive to listening to the older cat. Don't just automatically blow him off.
Yeah.
Don't think he don't know what he's talking about. Oh, it ain't how we do it now. Yeah. See, the only thing that changes is the slang and the vocabulary. Yeah. The situations pretty much stay the same.
Yeah.
But how you say one thing, if you 25, gonna be a little bit different than the guy that's 55 said. But you talking about the same thing. But if y'all talk to one another, y'all will realize and recognize that, man, we talking about the same thing. You might just be doing, I might be talking about a 8-track. You talking about streaming. Right. But we talking about the same way how we listening to music.
Right.
But you figure, that old nigga don't listen to no music. Right. I'm over here talking about, them young niggas don't know how to jam.
Right.
But we really, really need to just communicate. That's really, I think, we could solve a large portion of the problems that we have if we just talk to one another and be open to it. We may not always agree on everything, but at least the lines of communication will allow us to say, you know what? Last time I talked to old school, me and him didn't see eye to eye, but I got some ideas about something else. I'm going to go ask him about that because the lines of communication are now open.
Right.
But if you never breach that gap and extend your hand to that youngster, the youngster not coming to you because he gonna figure, oh man, he don't know what he's talking about.
Right.
And you standing over there talking about, boy, he sure need to, man, he don't know what he doing. Well, he don't know what he's doing because you didn't tell him what he needs to be doing.
Right.
And he don't understand what you're talking about because you didn't make him understand what you were talking about. So,
and I think it comes with a bit of a compromise on both sides, right?
Absolutely.
So the older like us older guys, we got to learn how to speak the language, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't. A lot of times there's a disconnect, and I know because I got sons and I got they friends and all my kids' friends, my house is the fun house. Everybody come over to my house, so.
Yeah.
But not in the sense that like it ain't that kind of fun.
Right.
But me and my wife are younger type, we younger type parents. Like we speak the language our kids speak. We listen to the music our kids listen to an extent.
Right.
We understand where they're coming from when and we speak to them on their level instead of expecting them to understand us on our level with all of our experience and stuff that we've gained over all that time that they ain't got yet.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
this conversation itself is a simple conversation, but one that a lot of times don't even go on. Like you said, you could go to a family reunion. All the youngsters, they over there under that tree. All the old heads, they either in the house, they on the porch.
Right.
Now, there's a time and a place for that, but Uncle Charles still need to come outside and come on over here, Doobie. Let me show you how to do this.
Right.
Doobie's supposed to go to Uncle Charles. Uncle Charles, remember that time you had told me about? We got to get back to that.
Yeah.
The communication provides the seeds for the community. Mm-hmm. And as a culture and as families, individual families, you're stronger, man, when everybody can at least, once again, you're not going to always agree on everything.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're communicating and talking about it, that means more than anything, man. And I think that's where we have to get to and focus on. And this show is a part of that. What I plan on doing is every week that we do this, we're going to have us a younger person here so they can just ask a question. They might, they may or may not have someone that they can ask that question to, but we want them to be privileged to the conversations that we have, but also join in and talk, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We grew up in the time, me and Travis and Red grew up and said, we grew up in a time where, grown folks gonna be in this room, the kids gonna go in the other room.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was just a respect because the grown folks gonna be talking about grown folks stuff.
Right.
But the key thing part about that was when you and your daddy or your uncle go off somewhere, your uncle is talking to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think we've gotten away from that part of it. We got to just join them back together. Everything a kid don't need to hear from an adult because their minds aren't ready for it. But as you grow, you need to be having communication. Uncle Wayne, Uncle Charles, Uncle Derek, y'all need to be communicating with one another so you can show the young blood how to grow up.
And how many single mamas look for us as barbers to do that?
Yeah.
Man, that's another thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. You know how many single mamas? Like, I had my youngster in the chair a couple of weeks ago, and I was just asking him about the dating world. Like, bro, he 21. How is it for you right now dating? Woo. He said, man, it's crazy because they expecting us to have it like y'all got it.
Bruh, you know what's so crazy? Jump in. Because I be tripping out off this, right? Because as y'all talking, I'm sitting here thinking about it. And it really all comes down to like a money situation, right? I don't want to look at the old head because he ain't got little baby money. Right. He ain't driving a Rolls Royce. He ain't got the same goals that I got. And it all turns into like peacock fellas, right? That's what it all is. You ain't getting a haircut and riding rims and got new shoes and all of that to go get a nigga. And I mean, unless that's what you into. You know what I'm saying? But for the majority of the time, you jumping shive and doing all of this to go get a woman. That's what it always come down to. And as a result, a lot of these women don't even know what to look for anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What was that with?
Type shit I'm into. That's what they say. Nigga got racks up to his ear. And you see all the comments. Hard eyes. Type shit I'm into. Nigga can't broil an egg.
Strip that shit from you. If it's stripped, who are you? And that's what I want. But people perceive me as a person who will want the money.
Right.
Who will want and that's not who I am though.
You know why? Because the internet, society, you see what I'm saying? Television, radio, has already gave you an idea. of the man you're supposed to have,
But that's still
or the woman you're supposed to have.
And what the men, a lot of the young men think that they're supposed to be. You know, that's one thing I pray. You know, I got a 25-year-old son, and I'm just so blessed that he has the personality that he does have. But I looked at a lot of his peers, and I look at what has influenced them. And you know, society done told them, yeah, you supposed to have the nice whip, stacks on stacks of bread, plenty of jewelry, plenty of all of that. And if you're not influenced by somebody close to you telling you that's not a realistic expectation, you can fall into that mindset of thinking that's what I gotta have, or that's how I gotta represent myself. And young men will fall by the wayside. And what you end up with that is, now I'll do anything to get that.
Right. And see, that's the trip part, right? Because, you know, a lot of times I get guys that's younger than me, because they be, what up, OG? And I'm like, nigga, they was calling me OG at 23. I'm like, nigga, I'm not, what? But when you really think about it, right? Everybody standing at the bottom of the steps looking at the top of the steps. That's the pinnacle. That's where I'm trying to go. And the only way to get to step 7 from here is to take steps back, then take off running, and jump up there and hope that you get to step 7. What's probably gonna end up happening is that you're gonna get to 6, and then you're gonna do this, click, and then your knees and shit, and your shins and shit gonna hit step 7, and while you doing this, the nigga who took it step by step is gonna pass your motherfucking ass up. You see what I'm saying? And it's just such a trip, bro, because a lot of these people be signing up for this shit and don't understand that, like, it'll cost you your life.
Oh, absolutely.
Your freedom and all of that. You know what I mean? And that's why I want people to know, like, I've been on both sides of it. You feel me? Like, everything you Google about me ain't gonna be good. You see what I'm saying?
But that's the real side.
Exactly. And now I done stepped into this place where I realized that I wish I had men around me all the time. Somebody who'll pull my coattail and say, nah, young, don't fuck with them. Don't do that. You see what I'm saying? Because all it takes in the court of the people is for somebody to say the wrong thing.
Absolutely.
Motherfucker don't even use their brain no more. Never been to jail for it. Ain't no bitches come out the woodwork saying, oh, he did this to me. But still, I still gotta eat that. Take that on the chin.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because, I mean, my daddy killed himself at 15 years old. You see what I'm saying? I was 15 years old. And I asked my mama one day, like, I don't feel like going to school. I just nutted up and was like, I don't feel like going to school today. She was like, you don't have to. I was like, what? Cool. I need to do this more often, you feel me? And then she was like, you know your daddy killed himself today, huh? I was like, no. I actually didn't know that. I'm going to take this like back up just like that. Like, because how else do you say that shit? You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, you know what I mean? But, like, I think it put me in such a place mentally that I just started scrambling. I was scrambling to do whatever. Like, oh, all right, the best way to help my mama is to help myself. You know what I mean? Right. I don't got no money, I'm going to go steal my clothes. I don't want to steal no more, I'm going to start hustling. I'm going to start buying me some new shoes and all of that shit. And it seemed like nothing at the time. Like, oh, you ain't have to help pay bills. But, nigga, I'm beating niggas up at school because they talking about my shoes. This is my whole life. You see what I'm saying? We wear uniforms to school. I ain't had a new one in 2 years. I'm fighting behind this. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, in my little simple ass life, I don't have no guidance to say, hey, you need to go get an education. This is what it's about.
Just that steady.
You know what I mean? You is at school to learn. I'm not thinking that. I'm watching other people at school show up with products and shit on. You know what I mean? Because all us going through the same shit. Niggas in there selling Reggie, and they got some niggas in there selling heroin. You see them in high school.
Was your dad still living in New Orleans when he killed himself?
The last place I seen my daddy was New Orleans, but ironically, he killed himself in the place with the highest suicide rate, which is Seattle, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he killed
I knew
himself.
that. Never fuking shine. No fucking sunshine ever shines up there. If I wasn't blind, I'd kill myself up there. That motherfucker.
Nah, but it was a trip, you know, and I don't know exactly what he was going through. I can't speak for all that, but I wish he would have like at least tried to talk to us about it, me and my sister, before he, took it that far. Cause it's just, ain't no coming back from that shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not. And you leave more questions than you do answers when
Exactly.
you do that. Cause like you said, I can't really say what he was going through.
Exactly.
That's a hard burden. And the reason I asked that was because my father was killed in New Orleans in 1994.
Ooh, 94 was
That's a rough year.
treacherous.
A rough year.
Oh man.
And
Sorry to hear that.
it leaves a hole in you, because at the time I hadn't talked to my dad in about 8 or 9 months, and he didn't kill himself, but like you said, I hadn't talked to him, so I wasn't able to be abreast of what was going on. Shed a little light on it. My dad in the 70s, late 70s, my dad and my uncle, they were drug dealers. But you fast forward through the 80s and the 90s, now you on drugs. Fell off. Came homeless, was doing bad. But at the time that he got killed, he was rebounding. He had got himself together. He had found him somewhere to live. He was trying to get himself back right. Sit on his porch waiting to go to the barbershop. Ironic as that is. 2 dudes walked by and shot him 7 times and killed him right in his own yard. And like you said, how your mother said to you so casually, I was living across town. My parents lived in North Dallas. I was living in Pleasant Grove going to barber school. My mother called me and said, I need you to come over to the house. I'm like, Grove, a nice little old piece. I'm like, what's going on? You can't just tell me on the phone. He said, no, you need to come over to the house. All right, I'll be over there. Now, my mother remarried, and I got a great stepdad, That's my daddy there,
Yeah.
So she brought me. I came in the house, man, and I sat down in the dining room, and she said, baby, somebody killed your daddy. And man, let me tell you something. It felt like somebody cut the cables on the elevator, and it fell all the way down to the floor when she told me that.
Oh man.
Because like I said, I hadn't talked to him in 8 or 9 months. So all of that I had been feeling inside came rushing back to me, because I'm like, man, I didn't get to do this, and I didn't get to do that, and I didn't get to, and man, let me tell you, that's one of the worst feelings I've ever had in my life. And the only thing, and it didn't give me solace, but I always said, it ain't no telling what my daddy did to them dudes, because my daddy was a street dude.
Yeah.
And I understand the retribution that come with that. And then once again, this New Orleans, man, you get killed for nothing.
Facts.
Let alone something.
Facts.
And my daddy was one of them something kind of dudes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll never forget one summer, we used to go home, me and my younger brother, 7 years younger than me, we used to go home every summer and spend with my grandparents and my daddy for the whole school year. For the whole summer vacation. And I remember you know how hot it get in New Orleans, how humid it is. My daddy came home and put on a trench coat, got a piece of chain about that long, and put it in one pocket, and a long nose 38 and put it in the other pocket, and left. I don't know what he went did.
But they find
He came back home that night, but I don't know what he did. But that was just the dude he was, a great, love him, love, rest in heaven. But ain't no telling what my daddy had done to get that kind of retribution.
Right.
But all that to say this, I understand when you lose your father, it leave a hole in you.
Yeah.
And just think about all the young men that's out here.
Yeah.
Whether through omission, through attrition, or through prison. Think about all the youngsters that don't have that man.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to still have my dad now. So he didn't fill his void, but he was able to stand in a role that I was still able to have somebody to lean on.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody not that fortunate. And that's what we here, we're trying to provide that. Meyer gives us balance. Meyer gives us balance. But all of us as men, we're here to pass that on and help them youngsters out, man, so that they can be successes, man. That's what this life is about. Making sure that the next generation is able to have something that they can be proud of and that they can strive and achieve for, man.
No, that's a fact.
And at the end of the day, if we don't like redefine or define what a black man is for these youngsters, they won't know because it's being written. The rules are being rewritten. Like as we speak, it's being rewritten what a black man is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What a man is, period, but what a black man is being rewritten.
You know what I think is super interesting? I think it's crazy, like how, you know, like you said, they snatching these pieces away from us, right? Bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. And then they want us as black men or black children to look at other races and say, either you're our oppressor or look at all of these things that they don't do for us. Instead of us having a place that's safe where we can say, look, nigga, we gonna do this for us. You know what I mean? Anybody who be like Hollywood mistreating us, well, they wasn't built by us.
Okay.
For us.
It's nepotism involved. How you feel about your kids?
Right.
I know if I build something, Royce and Rajay gonna be in the front of the line.
Absolutely.
Call it what you want. I don't give a
Absolutely.
good goddamn. I made them babies. I made this. We going first. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that, like, you know, as black men, I just think it's beautiful that y'all starting something like this because this is what it take. You know what I mean? You can't be arguing with people about what they did. They don't owe us a motherfucking thing. Not a wooden nickel.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I want to acknowledge we're here at Stevie J's Sports and Cuts here in Plano, Texas, where you can get the look that you want from the barber that you need. We are the kings of Plano. We are the kings of Plano. So you can come here, you can Google us, you can find us on Yelp. You can come here and you can get the haircut for yourself, your husband, your children, whoever it is. Your wives, we got a beautician in the back. You can come here, you can get the service that you need, and get some of this quality conversation from us and from a myriad of other barbers. And I want to say thank you to Mr. Jason Mitchell for gracing us with his presence. To my cast members, School and the Gang is going to be a household name before it's all said and done. And we're here to make an impact. We will be in your community, trying to show young men, young women, and whoever it is that want to listen, that focus and determination can be the fuel for whatever it is that you want to be in this life. I say thank you, and to that end, I want to say God bless, good night, and y'all be easy.
In the club, we want the biggest section. And let us get a few bottles on your way to the back. Won't you send a few models and tell them take it off, chick, bend over, let me see it. The other niggas losers and I wouldn't want to be it. Yeah, I'm pushing P. This flow to show them they can't fuck with me.